All right, I think we're going. Welcome back to another one of these things. Just chatting about whatever kind of comes to mind, I suppose. Hope you're having a wonderful Monday. Hopefully that's not keeping you too down in the dumps. Where I'm at, we got a lot of snow over the weekend. I don't know how much it is. All I know is that we've got mounds of it that are as tall as me, maybe a little bit close to as tall as me. I don't know which hand is like the right hand. Stupid mirroring. And like every time we go to take our dog outside, she's just like not sure of how to even go to the bathroom. It's just too tall for her. It is kind of funny. When she goes in there, she is like leaping like a gazelle. It is a funny sight to see. But yeah, we can decide. Hope, as I said, hope your Monday's going well. Mine was, or is so far, going all right. Not having to do a ton of stuff, like work related today, which was kind of nice. It was a bit of a chill day. Don't really get too many of those anymore. Like toward the end of the day, it was like people asking questions and stuff, but wasn't too bad for the first half and a bit. But yeah, one of the things that I was also doing was kind of for the first time writing a bit of code from scratch for some documentation that I'm putting together. Like a blog post for documentation. And that's something that I haven't really experienced in a while. So I do a lot of writing right now, and I do enjoy it. Like I enjoy that a lot. The writing like interviews that I'm doing right now they're much more oriented to putting together like a project and then writing about that project and how it was set up, which is different than just writing for writing's sake. The piece that I wrote over the weekend for Prismatic Planet is like a stark contrast to this kind of writing style, where there I'm trying to just convey a feeling, make people feel like an emotional attachment to something, which is really hard to do when your content isn't, it's very specific, like really, really specific. So if I'm having to essentially document my process for creating an API, there aren't a lot of ways to do that. There's a lot of APIs to make. You can make a bunch of different things, but you're not solving anyone's problem. You're not giving yourself something that has a bunch of right answers per se. Like the content that you write can have a bunch of right answers, but if you're looking for somebody who knows how to make an API, there's only a few ways to go about doing that in a way that's considered normal or best practice, as opposed to my writing about gardens, which is completely up to interpretation. I can go over a bunch of there's just a lot of going over history and seeing how people these days like work with gardens. But if I'm writing for something specific like creating an API with .NET Core and C#, it's just there's ways to do that. And if you're not doing them that way, then you're wasting a lot of time. And it's not necessarily you wouldn't ever do it in another way, because in tech, efficiency is key. In gardening, like, yeah, there's efficient ways to do it, but there's many reasons why you would tend to garden. It's not specific. There's a bunch of different ways to go about meeting a personal need, where here it's a process for selecting somebody who knows what they're doing, not so much a person who is just doing this for fun and made the most inefficient API possible because they enjoy doing that kind of thing. That's not the kind of content that a company would want to push out. So It's interesting, like having those two things side by side, and maybe finding a way to tell a story around that kind of content would help it a lot. But like as I'm putting together or going through these projects, it doesn't feel like the kind of writing that I'd like to do, really. I think it'd still be valuable to write in a bunch of different ways and learn how to do that well and work with people who do that really well and consistently, but I can't see myself doing that forever. It's I guess the kind of writing I'd like to do is more of like an advocacy. You're not just writing tutorials. You're getting people excited about certain things, certain aspects of code or development. It's never how to. I mean, it can be how to. It can be how to if it's done in a in a very nuanced way or a story driven way, a very person driven way. But when looking through all of the other content that's out there right now, none of that is that. It's just a factory of putting out a bunch of different posts, a bunch of different blog posts about this same topic of how do I make an API just with this other language, with this other platform. It's kind of a little sad, really. I think I might be going through these exercises, but on the other side of it, not really wanting that kind of job. It's really weird. I thought this would be something that I'd like to do, and at least it'd be like I'd be able to put up with it long enough for it to like give me something to learn from. But if it really is just going through kind of a content farmish type approach to encouraging people to like development better, that's really not a good way to get people engaged. And like I totally get doing that if it were. I guess maybe that's kind of the thing here. One of my exercises that I did was just purely technical writer. I'm writing something about something that the company built or made. This one is more the company wants to establish themselves as a just development leader, but also wants to push their thing. So you get these really long blog posts that are like, here's this thing. It's nothing nuanced. We're not solving a problem you're having. No one asked for this. But it's a general topic, and it's general enough that we might get some people to look into this. And then we're going to use the last part to half of the post talking about our thing. Which, I get you need to do that. I get that you're trying to push your product, but it does come off as fairly ingenuine when you start a post that's just like create an API in this language, and then it's like, oh, by the way, here's our product to help with that. Like I said, totally get it, but I think there has to be a space where if you are trying to reach people in some genuine way, where you're trying to come across as a leader who knows their stuff, then having some content that's just being a development leader who knows their stuff should be fine. But that they tack on that bit after so much of their stuff just makes it seem like they're not there. It's kind of weird. Just seeing it from the other side. Like I see those posts all the time, and I guess like maybe it's just because where I'm used to seeing it from, it's just a bunch of people doing like guest articles to different publications and things where they're just writing about what they want to write about, and that comes across as really genuine. But when you have a bunch of people who are on staff to just churn out a lot of things that, yes, there might have been something of note in there, but all these posts are really just, they're things with already established structure, and all you're really looking for is either hiring the right person who knows that structure already so they can churn out the same thing over and over again in slightly different flavors, or you just look up somebody else who has done that and do your own spin on it. It's weird. It's a little weird. It may be a little disenchanting, like about the kind of writing that I'm looking into doing right now as a career change. So I'll have to see. Like, I don't want to feel so discouraged about this that I end up not completing this exercise. I think I would like to finish it and at least see what other professionals like think about how I approach it. But in the end, I don't think it's how I approach things. It's not how I approach writing or engaging people. I don't like none of this stuff here is ever like, I'll talk about Prismatic Planet occasionally. I don't make money off of that. It's just something that I like to promote and talk about. And it's far from most of the things I talk about here. Usually I'm talking about games, and I haven't done game design in years. So yeah, it's just like when you're actually wanting to talk about something or feel moved to actually talk about it, like it shouldn't feel like you can't like just give yourself to that thing for one of these kinds of posts or one thing of content, one unit of content that you would put out in the wild. Yeah, I don't know. I don't think that was exactly what I wanted to talk about today. I think I was like, as I've been going through like writing this code, I find that I've been enjoying that part. Like, I haven't written code for work in probably close to a year at this point, and I didn't realize how much I would have missed it. Like, when I got this exercise, I'm kind of like, I don't know how I'll be able to do this. I haven't really written much, but none of that's left me. It's still there. It's just learning a bit of new stuff. So like, I was able to put together basically the whole project in a couple hours maybe, but it's like looking forward to what comes after putting together the code. Yeah, I don't know if it's for me. We'll have to see how that goes, or at least find like something more specific to that. Maybe this is just because it's so in front of their audience that it feels slightly disingenuous. If it were just flat out technical writing for putting together documentation and stuff about how to integrate with their product just wholeheartedly, then it wouldn't be as big of a thing. But because it's just be an expert in our product, but also be an expert in everything, and never particularly solve someone's problem. But maybe they're open to hearing about changing that. It'd certainly be a way to attract more people to a site. It's, when I think about communities around code, I think a lot about like Stack Overflow, and like the whole reason that community is as big as it is because it's not people putting something out there to show how smart they are. It's the people who are wanting to like share their knowledge and intelligence. They have to respond to people who are having an actual problem, and that content machine is driven by a need to help, or a need for help and a desire to help those people who need it. And that's really interesting. It's kind of like, I don't know how a blog really does that unless they take take kind of a poll from their audience occasionally, and they're just like, what kind of stuff would you like to see? What problems do you have that you would like our experts to take a swing at? And then making sure people connect with that. That's the hard part about answering a question that nobody asked in the real time. It's, you're hoping that they're there once you get around to answering it, as opposed to something like Stack Overflow, which is a lot of people want to help. A lot of people really like being the first to help, and there's a whole reputation system built around that. And you are getting right in front of a problem needing solved, and you solve that, and that's shared with a lot of people very efficiently. It'd be easier to gather a following doing that than it would be trying to answer very generic questions like, how do I make an API? It's things like I've been going into. It's how do I update a property? How do I update a single property on an entity framework in memory data store? You don't do a whole blog post about that, but you reach a lot more people. Yeah. But maybe you're not the people who need to hear that. Maybe this is something I bring back to those people if I end up thinking that this is something I want to do. Like I said, I don't want it to feel like I'm going to just drop this assignment during this interview process, because I made it this far. They've given me enough of their time. I kind of want to just wrap this up and see what they think and bounce my ideas. And who knows? Maybe this is something that I would enjoy if I can encourage them to change a little bit. And maybe that's what they're looking for. In any case, that's probably enough rambling about writing and code and content. I'm not sure what the takeaway is there. From a personal level, I guess it's not like, don't feel like you have to go for every opportunity that's being thrown at you. If it's not something you're happy with, consider it. And for people who are just trying to put a lot of content out there and hope people come, that's not how it works. You have to know, you have to have a question that needs answering, a need that needs filling, someone that needs help to help. Otherwise, you're just putting something out there, and it's just hope. It's just hope. I say that as this kind of person who's just doing this kind of stuff, and this is just practice for me. So I guess maybe I'm not included in there, but I'm effectively just throwing content out there. I'm not answering anyone's question. I'm not filling a need right now. And because of that, I don't expect this to grow. But having an organization built around that and expecting it to grow doesn't seem quite right. Anyway, I think that's enough for today. And hope you're having a wonderful Monday. And you have a wonderful rest of your Monday and a good beginning of your Tuesday. Don't just stop at Monday. Plenty of days to go. And we'll catch you in the next one. See ya.